Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right, episode 89 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Ruben at Quality Prints in Illinois. Let's go! Shirt show!
Better late than never. Oh.
Hey,
I was just talking to myself because, nobody was there.
oh, you look like a lumber snack.
All right. That's the episode. Perfect. That's all we needed.
It's done. What's up?
Hey, asshole.
Hey, this feels so good. This feels so right.
It does, but aren't you
Really
curious?
loud. You're really loud.
Well, turn your fucking headphones down.
My headphones are down, like normal area.
Hmm.
Maybe you're all right. I'm just blowing on my ears.
Maybe I'm
good
just
now.
talking aloud.
You're
I'm
yelling at me, shouting.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm being a little aggro.
Don't.
There's a reason.
Why?
One sunset pick. One.
Dude, I didn't see the sunset very much.
I'm listening. I'm waiting.
It was very cloudy and rainy while I was in Florida.
Oh, really? No shit. It rained and stuff.
Yeah, there was like one day that was like beautiful and sunny while I was there. The first 4 days, it was like cloudy and like cool. It was like 60, 65. And then there was the day I sent you the sunset pic. And then the next day we went to the water park and I didn't have my phone.
Well, send me some fake sunset pics. Fake it. I don't care. You can Photoshop shit. You know how to do that.
Sure.
I don't want that. I want it to be real.
That's what I figured.
I'd rather you send me a picture of you in the rain. Yeah, send me that.
Okay, here, I got those. I got those pics. I got a little rain pic there for you.
Okay, let's see it.
Did you get that pic I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Whole fucking poncho.
It's like you're standing next to Spider-Man.
Yep. My son completely covered. Best part about him was he does shit like, I don't know, like it's not his fault. Like he had a poncho. We all had fucking ponchos and like his had a giant hole in the front of it. I'm like, dude, why'd you have to like rip a hole in it? He's like, it didn't. He's just like, my arms normally go here. And then there was like a little hole. And then like, I just kept pushing my arms forward and like, it made a big hole. I was like, no shit. You ripped your poncho. Like you kept fucking making the hole bigger. So I ended up doing the dad thing, took my poncho off, gave it to him. And then I just got soaking wet.
Well, I mean, is that all? Like no stories? I mean, I know you went to Disney. I know you had your turkey dinner like you were looking forward to. Yeah.
We went, like I said, for me, a lot of it was just eating and like finding good places to eat because I don't really ride rides. I did ride some rides, nothing crazy. My favorite ride is Spaceship Earth, which is like the old man dad ride, but I still love it.
Why is it an old man dad ride?
It's just like one of the old rides. It's the actual Epcot ball. Like if you go in it, it like spirals up and it's like man through time, like, creating paper and then like writing shit down and then like the internet and like it goes through and like technology through time kind of thing. I like it. I don't know. I just like that one. And then we did that one like 2 times, I think. The second time was just again to get out of the rain, but I only really ride like the slow, non-spinny, crazy rides. But yeah, Disney was good as far as that stuff. The kids have a good time. But I was like ready to come home after Disney was over. Like I was like, all right, I'm like fucking, I'm done, I'm ready. But we still had like a whole another trip. Like we did half Disney, half Universal. So like we packed up, went to Universal and like did the whole thing all over again. So yeah, Universal is definitely more like teen to adult, I feel like, because it's more like roller coasters and every corner has like alcohol for sale and like it's definitely more like party time. I did a few rides there and I definitely got sick after every single one of them.
When I was looking at reels the other day, and I came across one where some dude and his family was at Disney, and they were like getting kicked out. They were arguing with security and screaming. And I was like, I wonder if Dylan's right there. You know, or maybe
I wish I was. I didn't see anything cool like that. I didn't see any like arguments. It was, if I did, it was me yelling at my own children. It was a good time. It was fun.
Yeah.
Not bad. I'm super glad to be home though.
Yeah, since it's the greatest, like traveling is so, I mean, I love it. And I love being somewhere else. And especially if the weather isn't
traveling though. This is like, you're immersed in a fucking amusement park where all they want to do is suck all the money out of you as possible. This isn't like, oh, I went to the mountains and like saw this.
No, but still it's away from home, because the feeling of, because you get in this routine at home, and which is fine. And I do like routine, but you take some of the stuff for granted. And so all of a sudden you're traveling and you're away. And one, usually you absorb different culture, or, you know, see different things, and that's cool. Right. And you bring it home. And then two, when you get home, you're like, oh, you know, I love home, you know? So
I was definitely fucking stoked to be home last night. The big part about like this trip for me was I was serious, like inspecting like every like merchandise item as far as like apparel. Like Disney has like a crazy amount of like different apparel, and like they use like every technique there is, like glitters and puffs and like tons of vintage and like just like standard printing, but everything's like fucking like 12 colors. It's not like, oh, here's like a one color print. Like they do have those, but I feel like most of them are like, no, here's like every character in this like series. And it's like, it's super blown out. So it's like funny. I can tell that why they would want to invest in like a Maverick or, you know, a newer digital technology, so that they can easily print all these colors.
Or a Polaris.
That's not out yet, Andy.
Nobody knows what it is anyway. Except,
or a Polaris.
Except maybe you and me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Joanna's back.
Yeah. How'd that go? Dad running around, jumping jacks?
It's doing well. Like,
is his name Jack? Because that would rule if I said he was jumping jack.
It is Bill.
Yeah. So, it's a
nickname. Jumping Bill. No, yeah, he's doing really well. So he had you know how amazing medicine is and technology. I mean,
tell me about
he got well, when he first went in, he had 3 stents put in for he had emergency surgery. And that's when she flew up there. But he had to go get one more. And isn't it amazing that they can go in your arm, up your bloodstream to your fucking heart, and then put in a stent so that because the fourth one he just had put in, he had 95% blockage. And so like they didn't have to do open heart surgery and, you know, do a bypass. They just went in through your arm, dude. That's crazy.
I know. I'm banking on, can't remember what movie it is. I feel like it's like Elysium or something, where it's like you get in this fucking like chamber and then the lid shuts and it's just like scans you and then just like fixes the shit that's wrong with you, and you get out and you're like 100%. Like there's like health bars where it's just like, oh, you're fixed now.
Or want to be that we'll be able to grow our own like new heart outside of our body. So they're like they clone our DNA and they're like okay, Andy. Back. Yeah, they're like, hey, you're gonna grow a new heart like over the next few months or whatever, and then we're going to replace your old heart.
It's like those mice that have ears on their back because they're like growing them on them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Why not? I'd
you
do
have
it.
To grow your own body part on your own body. So if you needed an arm, they would like have an arm coming out of your chest.
Or a dick, maybe.
Yeah, like right here. Like, sir, the only viable place for you to grow this dick is on your forehead.
Yeah, we find the best results come from your head. Because it's a head.
It's head-to-head contact. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, on that note, maybe we should do a dad joke and get on with the show. So to kick it off, we've got our trusty dad joke button.
Doing that. actually don't have a dad joke because of how many people are doing dad jokes in podcasts nowadays. So it's like, you know what?
We're going to come up with something new.
I gotta fucking come up with some better jokes. Like, let's do like real jokes, like real, like, hey, three guys walk into a bar. You know.
Sure. I'm waiting though for you to stop so I can do this.
Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah. Why did the partially blind man fall into the well? Because he couldn't see that well.
So
I think we did that one already.
Police have arrested the world tongue twister champion. They said he'll be given a tough sentence.
I have two. All right. I have two.
Right,
ready?
You carry us today.
The first one is, I will wait till you're paying attention.
I am fully.
Why does Jeff Bezos fuck?
Why does he? Because he's the man and he has money. Women like that.
People are like, he fucks.
Yeah.
What does Jeff Bezos do before bed?
I thought you were going to say, what does Jeff Bezos fuck? I don't know.
He puts his pajamas on.
So dumb.
Oh, I love that one. Okay, I have one more. It's another celebrity. So what happens when you hit Dwayne Johnson in the butt?
He hits rock bottom.
Hell yeah. No, you hit rock bottom.
You hit rock bottom. Sorry.
Yeah, you saw that on
seen that.
Dead.
Yeah, I think I said that on here like 6 months ago.
All right, well,
your week.
Nothing. Just
nothing. You just missed me so much that you just
waited,
got in the fetal position, and sat in the dark, and waited for me to come back.
Exactly. This week was pretty interesting. I did this, I did that, and I did this, and I did that, and I'll elaborate on it maybe some other time.
Really cool.
Before we say our sponsors, I wanted to say Mazel Tov to Mr. Matt Marcotte because he married his best friend. Was it yesterday? Day before?
Love you, Matt. Matt Cott.
Yeah, we love you and we wish you the best.
Yeah.
Let's do this, and I'm going to tell you a little story.
Okay.
Frank, if you didn't know it, he can build like other stuff besides screens. And so he's building us a drying rack, not just one, but 8 drying racks. And so imagine like the racks that are that we coat screens with, and you put the screen in horizontally, right? So you're going to go
it
like
the other way. So you
just let me tell the story.
Okay. Sorry.
You put the screen, here's your screen, and you put it in like this on the drying rack, and you stack them, right?
Yeah.
At the end of our eco text, exactly what you said, we're going to put it in like this, and then stack them along like that, and then stack them along like that, and stack them along like that.
So you have no water droplet issues.
Right. And so we're building enough to store 60 and 60. So 120 at the end of the eco text. And then we're building another 2 racks, and they're on casters. These are sick, like really, really nice, racks. And then the other 2 are going to be at the end of our eco rinse.
So you can roll them into the dark room, so you don't have to
load
and unload. Right.
You can. Yeah. Neat, right?
Neat.
Mm-hmm. I know, we're really excited. It's a custom build because we measured our space we had, and he's building it, to our space. And so it's about 4 weeks, let's say.
Do you have some kind of like layer in between the rows so that the water doesn't drip from one row to the next row?
We talked about that. And so there's a couple of options you can do. One, we figured we could do, of course, you just start on the top row. And then by the time you get 20 on there and you're starting on your next row, like those are pretty well dripped dry. And then you start on the second row and then third row, right? So you start on the top.
Makes
and
sense.
Then the other thing is yes. So we can put, the corrugated, like the signs you can print on.
Yeah.
You can put that in between. We're talking about doing that too. And so, but Frank does that kind of stuff too. So it all starts with the screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Correct. Cleaning screens is no fun, but easy way makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you and your team keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. Easyway.
It's the easiest way.
Yeah. So Action Engineering makes all kinds of accessories printers need.
Yes.
Go to Action Engineering to have a look and then use Shirt Show at checkout and get a one-time discount of 15%.
That's such a good deal.
I saw somebody asking about a dryer belt and I was like, I think they do. And so I went there real quick to the website and they do. They can in fact custom build, like make any length you want.
They can customize a lot of the stuff that, like pallets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They make the shit. They don't like order it. So you can, sure they can make you anything you want.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
So here's the thing. Monarch Color makes ink that does what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's quoted from
guy.
From you. Yeah, that guy right there.
Yep.
You can learn more at, sorry. Were you going to say something about them?
No, I'm saying you can have my quote. You're someone I would gift that quote to.
Well, what's mine? What's mine is yours.
Right. Same.
Learn more at Monarch. Was I supposed to say something back?
Nope.
I mean, because
Nope.
Learn more at monarchcolor.com. Ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch. All right. Well, dude.
I feel like there's something else we should talk about.
You got to stretch. Oh, okay, sure. Should we stretch first or do you want to talk about it?
Let's stretch first. That makes sense.
Okay.
You ready? Oh, push those pecs out, dude. I feel like that's my go-to stretch. It's just like puffing my chest out and feeling my fucking shit crack. I stretch that tongue. There you go. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about, you should know a little bit more about because your wife is involved, is the Print Girl Mafia finally started the Facebook group, their support Facebook group for women printers.
Didn't know that. Tell me more, Dylan.
I know more than you on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I saw the post earlier today. Saw that it's a thing now.
I've been off the internet all day.
If you're listening and you're a female screen printer or in the industry, go check it out. It's women only. It's a hell of a thing that they're doing, those ladies. So go support them.
100%.
Yeah.
Should I go follow the page?
I don't think you can. No, it says women only.
Oh, does it really?
Yes. So, okay. I mean,
well,
just saying, just putting it out there.
Mm.
Being supportive.
Well, cheers to that.
Mm-hmm. So who we got today?
Today we are chatting with Ruben Meza. He is with Aztek Tees in Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago?
Yeah. I think we probably need to pay it a visit pretty soon.
Want to?
Yeah. Although I think we're going to, what's it called? Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that coming up?
I heard you were recently. I heard from a little birdie you were going to be there.
And I fully expect to go to that shitty pizza place that...
Oh, fuck yeah. It's not shitty at all. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So we'll hit that up.
Tony Baloney's.
That's right. But he's here, so let's do this. You ready?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Born ready.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Oh, man. Best day ever. I made it for you guys.
Hell yeah.
My grandfather, he used to say that every day. So when he got home from work or if it was on the weekends, didn't matter. When he sat down for dinner,
right?
He had a napkin and he actually tucked it in his neck collar, and the napkin came down, cover because he's gonna be a little sloppy. And he said right before he started eating, he said, "Best day of my life." Every single day.
I mean, honestly, when I was, what was it, on Messenger, we were texting back and forth. Hey, I'll get you on the 13th. I'm like, yeah, sure, the 13th. and I'm going crazy right now because we have remodeling at the house. And yeah, 13th of March, of course. You guys are busy. You guys always have something lined up. So I called my wife and I'm like, I'm going to be in the show the 13th. Oh, beautiful. That's great. You always wanted to be there. And I'm like, yeah, the good thing is that I'm going to be all settled in by the time with the move, because I'm moving the shop and the remodeling. So everything will be out of the way. And she's like, no, it's this Saturday. It's this Sunday. I'm like, no, that can't be right. But it's been a crazy week. Crazy week.
What did you do? What were you moving? Were you moving everything?
So we got an auto, and we're supposed to get it installed this week. And I talked to the rep, and I called up and I asked him, hey, what's going on? Because, it's out of state. It's running behind, but it's in transit, and it'll be here this week. So that allowed us to have some shiny floors. I mean, I'm already with a contract at a new shop. We're gonna be just operating till the end of the month in both locations, here at the shop manually, and then the auto on the other one.
You got a 12 color Sportsman, I think. Is that right?
8 color 10 station. It's a small one.
Same one I got.
Yeah.
Same one I have.
Speaking of, did you have any bites on that yet, Annie?
I was gonna be the one, but you were late.
Yeah, I think I should have listed it a few weeks ago, but we were traveling and I just didn't get to it. And so here we go. Now it's kind of crunch time, and it's for sale. Yeah. So.
Well, the funny thing about that is they're saying basically that if you are selling an auto or something equipment wise, that you can get almost what you paid for it at this point. Yes. Because of how in demand they are. So are you hoping to get a decent amount for yours, or are you getting on that?
I think I'll get, I can tell you what I'll probably get for it. Percentage wise, not what I paid, less than what I paid.
Well, yours is kind of old though too, right?
Yeah, it's an 09 and it has about 3 million prints, but here's what it's probably worth. Ready? So 40.
Can you whisper the math?
I'm going to probably get, it's probably worth about 80%, of what it was new. And that's a few reasons for that. One is that if you order a new press from an M&R right now, you're looking at 32 weeks, waiting period, and so this is available now. And, a lot of people are experiencing crazy growth and they need a press and they can't wait till fall. And so it's worth, just like the used car market, I guess, there's supply demand.
Well, I know it's that way for everybody, every manufacturer right now trying to get, presses or dryers or whatever, it's all delayed. But it's the funny thing, like without COVID, you have a year where you're like, oh, fuck, like we're at capacity or over capacity and you bust ass. And then you're like, okay, at the end of that year, you're like, all right, this is the stuff I need to buy to be better next year, like to be prepared for that season again. Well, that's what we all do. And that's what I did. And I ordered another auto and another dryer. And then when I finally got all the paperwork signed, got everything done, it was like, all right, cool. Well, your install is end of August.
A lot of wait time. A lot.
So I'm like, dude, that's the end of the season. Like, I'm not going to be prepared for this year. Right. I'm going to be, closer to wrapping shit up. I mean, August is still busy, but it's like, do I want to have a press and dryer installed in the middle of being busy? Boxes everywhere.
See, if you think about it, Dylan, it's not really good because I got approved for a brand new auto. And it was supposed to be a Diamondback, small one. But at the end of the day, when I was doing my numbers, financing and all that stuff, they will not allow you to buy, like I went through with Geneva Capital. They will not allow you to buy a used machine through financing. And, I mean, they're losing because obviously a finance company is going to want their cut. They're losing a customer. They're losing the sale. And not only that, you're adding 32 weeks. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I went from a shop that was 2 autos to my garage, and then you're pulling the squeegee every day. So it's a little, doesn't make any sense. You have to have the cash and you have to look around because there's no market right now. There's nothing. I talked to my rep and I asked him, hey, what's going on? I mean, I don't want to switch. I mean, I looked at Ananathol. I looked at MHM, but I was just not there. But it's I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how, because of the shortage of labor, I don't know if it's the shortage of labor. I don't know if they make it upon.
I feel like it's a mix of everything. It's like, they look at it as we only have so many parts. The problem is they could probably build a whole press and like have it ready to go. But there's like that one part that's like really hard to get. And you have to wait to get that part before they can ship you the whole press. So it's not like it's like taking forever to do this stuff. It's just like little things here and there that are like key components are just like taking forever to get.
Well, that and orders are up, so I mean, lots of people are wanting equipment. Maybe they delayed purchases in 2020 and then all it pent up and now everybody needs a press. And then like we had a record year. And so what do you do after a record year? You think to yourself, I probably need to buy some equipment. And so, yeah, I mean, they're doing really well. They have a lot of orders and also they're struggling with what everybody just did. And like we spent about 2 months at 20% down of our team because on any given day, somebody was out, sick. And so just like every other company, that's going on. So like Dylan said, they have, an issue with supply chain, just like everybody else. And they don't have they're missing out on a chip or whatever they're missing out on. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think that, so I'm getting a press in a couple of weeks and I ordered it last like summer or the end of the summer or something, and so it's crazy to think that, it's taken that long to come in. But before
like you said, though, is that you're trying to sell your press and you can get a good markup on it now just because it's so in demand. But I look at that too. Like I'm like, I could sell my Sportsman and make a good amount of money on it because I know I've babied it and it's clean and taken care of. But the problem is like I could sell my Sportsman and get a good amount of money for it, but I wouldn't have a press to replace it with. It's not like I can take that profit and just be like, all right, like screw myself and not have a press for, whatever.
Yeah, you mean just go down to one press, you're saying?
Yeah, like it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were just selling off a press to sell off a press and you didn't need it, then it's one thing. But like if you want to sell to upgrade to another press,
yeah, it's tricky.
You're going to have to wait for it.
It's definitely tricky. So Ruben, we want to hear your story, but before we get started, I wanted to thank you again and tell this little story. Is that one day I got a message from you and that you were coming to town for some reason. You're like, hey, Andy, I'm going to be in town. Thought I'd stop by, say hi. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Come on by. And you did. And when you got here, you were pulling a giant cooler full of beverages, cold frosty beverages, not just beer, but like anything you wanted was in this cooler for everybody here. In fact, everybody could have probably had 2. And you gave us not only the stuff that was in it, but the cooler also, like it's still here.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I don't know. That was really great. And I appreciate it. And I talked to you and your sons and we went around the shop for like a 3-hour tour, something like that. And
yeah, it's because you guys do so much for the industry. That was the least I could have done. You guys do so much. You guys share a lot of knowledge. You guys, when I was doing printing for that other print shop, and I was just on my headphones listening to music, there was a time that I was like, you know what? I mean, you can't just be, I'll do music all day long, don't get me wrong. But you also have to learn all the time. You always want to be learning. And when I heard the shirt show, I don't know how I got in it. I think it was through, first from Upstate Merch, from the podcast that you had first, I think. And then from there, we started listening to you guys. And I every single day, every single Monday, I'm on it. And I'm like, these guys are cool as hell. They're sharing everything they know. I mean, I wish there was more of you guys because there's people out there that are not like willing to even talk about it, secrets of the industry, if you want to put it that way. And that was the least I could have done. And I'm going to New York. I don't know exactly what time, Dylan, but I'll do the same thing for you, man. I'll come out. I'll meet your shop.
Just a little bit bigger, cooler, though.
A little bit bigger, cooler. Got it. Okay.
Right. Just a little bit bigger. Like, I don't care what brand it is, as long as it's a little bit bigger than Andy's. I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my friend from high school. I didn't see him for, I don't know, 15 years, 16 years. And he called me, hey, I'm having a quinceañera, a sweet 16. I need you to come by. I'm only doing selected people. I need you to come by right on St. Louis. I'm like, yep, we'll be there, And I started searching, hey, you know what? He's going to be perfect. It's a round trip. I'll come visit Andy. I'll look at his shop. I looked at the machine you got, the one that I was going to get, the Cobra, but I'm like, wow, $97,000 for a Cobra. I'm like, this is the price I want. I saw it, and you had it in mint conditions. It was brand new. I don't know, what was this, 2021 or? Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, I don't know when I guess we got that installed in 2020.
2020, okay.
Yeah.
It was like end of 2020, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was like COVID actually happened at the same, like a couple of weeks later.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but the Sporty's a great press too. We have two of them here, and
I just
Dylan just got one, and we have we run both of them every day. They're fantastic presses, so.
Yeah.
You were talking about listening to the show for like education stuff. Do you do anything else to dive into like print education? Like, is there anything that you obviously probably like YouTube videos and stuff like that, but do you have any like favorites that you look into? Cause that's something like,
give me 1 second.
Bring that pup up. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
That's a dog. That's a dog you don't want to see at the front door if you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, of course.
So for those who are listening, I think it's a German Shepherd.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. German Shepherd. There are a couple of podcasts that I listen to for educational purposes. There was a time in my life where I didn't really wanted to do screen printing anymore because of the previous, business that I had. And I started listening to real estate, and he gave some very, very good feedback, money-wise, how to manage your money. I was very close to get my license as a realtor, and I told my wife, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, maybe I should have done it because, printing shirts, decorating apparel is there, but there's a lot of work involved. People don't realize
there's a lot of work in real estate though too.
There is.
My wife did real estate. She worked in the office though. It's like an office coordinator for like, I don't know, like 10, 12 years. And then she started doing the actual real estate side of it. And it was like, it was good for a while. But the problem is like, if you have kids and a family, it's like hard because it never shuts off.
Yeah.
Like clients are calling you at all hours of the day. It's like, you have to go show houses on Sunday and Saturday and like all these times. And plus like, it's sad to say, but like as a woman too, as a realtor, like you're scared to like go to some houses with random fucking people to be like, hey, let me show you this house in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of work, dude.
I have a friend that is a realtor and he told me, Ruben, you have good customer service. You have the potential. You have the customers. A lot of people. You should get into this. Commissions are good. I did my research. I read a book on it. It's a great thing, but I'm just not there. I'm passionate for it. I like it. But I think that, switching the business from Aztek tees to quality prints, the whole purpose is to have a quality of life.
Right.
There was 13 years of my life that I spent. And honestly, it was the best 13 years because, my mom is a breast cancer survivor for 3 times. And that was during that, thank God. Yeah, that was during that time where we had the other company, my brother and I, my ex-business partner. And I loved every minute of it. Unfortunately, we ended up divorcing. We're no longer in business together. I'm by myself. But I love printing shirts. I could be on the press. I could be there. I could do screens, and I love reclaiming screens. I could be on the dark room. When you do something that you like, I think it just makes it a lot easier. That's just anything.
You have to.
Yeah, if you love, I think it's important to whatever you're doing to love the process because you're going to be that much better. I think so. I introduced you earlier before you came on from Aztek Tees, but you just said that you switched it to quality prints. So can you tell us where it started and then kind of bring us up to speed where it is now?
All right. So first thing, Aztek Tees was established in 2017. That's the legal business name, Aztek Tees. So that's what it all started. My brand, pretty much, my clothing brand. Let's say, for instance, the Aztek calendar put into a Darth Vader or into an eagle. So that was the brand, and they sell pretty good. eBay, Etsy, Amazon. That's what it all started. When I was in my brother's shop as a partner, Blue Monkey, that's the name of his company, Blue Monkey Graphics. I had that brand, but I didn't have it structured properly. I think back then it was like just a 1099. So that kind of pushed all my goals back. But as of right now, it's registered as Aztek Tees with a DBA quality prints. The reason why I switched it is because when we ended up splitting, he kept some of the customers. And I started, I pretty much got a fresh start. And I lost some of the good accounts because of the name. Believe it or not, because of the name. There was a time, I'm not going to say the name of the school, but you put in a bid and let's say you're doing long sleeve 5,400, or let's say you're doing 18,500, whatever you're doing, you put in your bid, you put in your price, and a very, very well-known school around the west suburbs, the coach called me. He's like, you know what? I don't think they're going to give you the business. I'm like, I'm sure I'm getting it. I'm doing everything possible, 100%, secure, because who's giving you a hoodie for like less than $20 finished nowadays? But because of the name being Latino, being Aztek, a warrior, that kind of pushed everything back. But
really,
I switched
they didn't want to give you the business because they're the company name.
Believe it or not, I mean, I don't know if it's politics. I don't know if it's something that had to do with who knows how they do it.
Right,
who knows how they do it? But I told my wife, you know what? At this point, the brand is doing good. She has her own boutique for baby apparel. I have my Aztek brand. I don't really sell as much, but the way the business is going is turning out to be more of clothing brands, the schoolwork. It's just a lot easier. Okay, quality prints, Ruben from Blue Monkey. Okay, yeah, he'll get the order in. And luckily, thank God, it's been busy. It's been pretty busy to the point that, from the garage 2019, from the garage, and now 2021 and buying an auto, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself,
Yeah. And you have the new space to put all that in and everything?
Yes. I had worked up a deal with some investors on a big building. I'm not a contractor. I'm not an electrician. I do a lot of stuff, but I just want to focus on sales. That's all I do. So we had this deal with a contractor, and it was supposed to be like 2 manuals, an auto, a conference room, a huge space. And we ended up going through the city of Chicago for the bank. At the end of the day, the deal fell apart. They wanted a business plan, which we did. We submitted the business plan. They wanted blueprints. What's it going to be, the structure? We did everything that we had to do. But that deal is still, right now, the inspector tells it as if it was the architect. The architect is the city. So I dropped the ball on it. And the building, it was really, really cheap. I mean, it needed everything to be redone. Put in an auto and just keep on printing. That's pretty much what the plan is.
Who's all working there though? Is it just you, or you got a couple people there?
No, I got my wife and I and a press operator, 3 full-time employees. My dad is considered a full-time, but he's mostly, since he retired, he's just helping me with deliveries. And I subcontract design work. I go back and forth into the presses on what's going to be done, what job is going to be next, kind of like a manager sort of type.
Right.
But yeah, if we have to get on press, look at me on a Saturday, Sunday, I was printing. My guy is honest enough. My guy that helps me, OT, He told me, Ruben, I might be late. I might be late on Monday. So I'm not going to take any chances. I'm coming in on a Saturday and I'm printing shirts so that we don't have to worry about, Monday's deliveries or Tuesday's deliveries, Now,
I don't know how much you want to get into it, but what happened with the last place?
Oh, with my brother, yes. He's like a mentor to me. I love my brother. He's I was just talking to him Friday. At the end of the day, I'd rather have a brother, than a business partner 24/7. Him and I went through a lot. We did about 13, 14 years in business, and I was doing everything on there. He's a graphic designer, one of the best graphic designers I could probably say I met. And in 2009, when it was very, very bad, are we going to quit this and get a part-time job because of economy, because of, having 14, 18 high schools, like 20 grammar schools, middle schools, to like 4 or 5? We ended up diversifying. I ended up selling my brand, and he ended up opening up a soccer league. So at that time, in order to keep Blue Monkey, we had to him go on his own and me kind of doing my online thing. I've always done sales. That kept it for, I don't know, a couple of years. Our mistake was that we didn't came back 100%. And I'm part of the problem, when you have a full-time job and then you go home and you ship shirts out. And I'm talking 2009, 2010, where I didn't know that you could actually print a shipping label from the computer. I would go to the post office, wait in line, fill out the paperwork. 2019 came over. My wife told me, hey, we're expecting another baby. Every year throughout, 10 years, every summer it was like the schools owe us this much money. Bad decision after bad decision. That was kind of like the trigger point, I think, my daughter. We ended up splitting. I ended up going to another print shop. I ended up printing there, paying my debt. I was behind on my mortgage payment. I kind of got caught up. But at the time I wanted to see if I could do better. It turns out, you're still working for somebody and you're not really, you're just a number, you're not really getting valued for what you're actually doing.
And that other place was another print shop you worked at?
Another print shop, yes.
And what were you doing there?
Just manual printing.
You said your passion was sales, and then you just went into manually printing?
Because of my financial situation.
Yeah.
I wanted to pretty much bring support to the family, be able to tell my wife, my kids, say, you know what? Don't worry about it. We have another baby on the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to make whatever it takes,
Right. But you said you were mostly doing sales of the Blue Monkey thing. Were you printing then too?
Sales, printing, screen washing.
So you're doing a little of everything.
Everything. This is why I say, when I left Blue Monkey, the only thing I took is knowledge, because I learned a lot.
Right.
I don't know how far back you guys go, but it used to be called 10X, 8X, the screen mesh back in the days. And you didn't have no, SATI or some, hydro mesh counts. We were actually pulling the mesh by hand and then stapling it, because we were, that old school.
So how did you guys get into it originally then? How did you start printing in general or get into the industry, I guess?
So when I was 21, 22, can't remember the dates, but I used to just party hard, party hard. I worked for a cleaning company before that, and I had a part-time job at a bank, and I was just going through cash and burning, partying. And my brother told me, my ex-partner, he's like, you can't be doing this. You only did 2 years of college. You can't be doing this. You have to, get your shit straight, He had the business with an uncle, and that business was falling apart pretty much. But back then, he told me, come print at the shop. I need somebody to come and print. I'm like, I got 2 jobs. What am I going to do? He's like, "Whoa, you're not doing much. You're partying every weekend." So
he had already had a print shop.
He already had it. Back then, it was called Lizard Screen Printing, but that didn't work out. When he ended up leaving that place, I came in as a partner with him. I think back then it was just the documents, the licensing, and all that. So my investment was just hard work and a couple of $100, for the license. Mm-hmm. And we registered the business. And we grew it to have about 6 families under the same business. My brother, his wife, everybody, the employees. I was able to manage about eight employees back then. And I was just the manager for operations.
Right. And you guys were still focusing, like you said, on schools and all that stuff.
That's kind of what the niche was. That's kind of what it was. We did have some accounts that were considered steady, but part of the problem with that company was that, hey, can you print on a random leather material? Yeah, we'll do it. Hey, can you do business cards? Yeah, we can do it. We will take any job. And that was part of the problem why that business back then wasn't as successful. Mm-hmm. We were doing websites.
You found that taking everything was kind of taking you away from being
right. Yeah, you can't really be a jack of all trades. You either focus on one thing and make sure you're good at it. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Screen printing, that's about it. The embroidery, my uncle does it. And I don't have to worry about it. I do the digitizing, not like the way you guys say that my grandma does the digitizing. No, I literally do the digitizing because I want it done right. But that's more than enough that I could take, pretty much.
I think Dylan and I think we're both doing a little bit of that. So we're getting rid of services that we used to do, and also sort of some of the clients, like the smaller quantity clients. Right. And we're focusing on what we're really good at. I just had a conversation with somebody about vinyl because they're looking for like those jackets with, we don't print jackets here because, well, for one, we're selling our manual, or we sold our manual. We had one jacket hold down, which was just a pain in the ass to work with. Yeah. And it's just no fun printing on jackets because
I just gave mine for free.
I mean, it's just like, there's so many things that can go wrong with printing on jackets. And so you have to mix ink, the Nylabond, all kinds of stuff.
Nylabond, yeah.
And so, we don't want to mess with that anymore. And we want to focus on what we're really good at. And that's it. And so, but those are difficult conversations because I told her, I was like, look, because they want a one-stop shop. They want to come here. They want to get shirts. They want to get hoodies. They want to get their hats, and they want to get jackets. Like, look, we're just not doing the jackets anymore. And so it was difficult and I don't want to lose them as a customer, but I also want to know that I need to focus on what we do. And that's it. Because there were too many, everything, accepting those sort of jobs that were just, sure, I guess we charge extra for, and we can make some money in, doing that at the time, or it used to be anyway, I thought that it was a good thing to do, but now it's just getting in the way of doing what we're really good at. And so it's going away. And Dylan's doing a little bit of, I think, the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when we were listing our business cards back in the days, I looked at the services and now after like so many years, web development, offset printing, car reps, vinyl graphics, screen printing, embroidery, it was just too much to take. It was just too much. And there's so many hours in a day. You can only do so much. You have to be honest to yourself. When a customer calls me, they're like, Ruben, we want jackets stitched. Yes, I'll stitch them for you. They're going through quality prints because that's our entity. But I don't touch any of the embroidery. Mm-hmm. My uncle does it. And he does a great job.
That's the thing, though, too, is like you can have that business. Like there's a lot of businesses that do, all that stuff that you listed. Like, someone like Jack Prints or whatever, where they do screen printing and paper and all this other stuff. But they have the systems in place and they have the people in place. You know what I mean? Like if you were like, okay, I want to do screen printing, I want to do embroidery. It's like, okay, well, you have a screen printing manager and an embroidery manager.
Yes.
And somebody who just oversees and takes care of that whole thing. Mm-hmm. If you were like, okay, I'm going to do screen printing and business cards and this and this and this and this, and you're in charge of all of them, they're all going to suffer.
Yeah.
Like there's no fucking way.
It's interesting. It's interesting that it's called Jack Prince because it's sort of like, are you the jack of all trades? Because then you're master of none. And so I'm not saying that they aren't a master of all of those different things.
They're a master of all those things.
But it's dude, like that's super hard to do. And we don't want to be that big. You know, we're happy with our size. We don't want to scale anything beyond what we are right now. And so, and if that's the case, then I think you have to focus in on and be a master at something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When I worked at the print shop, I was learning a lot through you guys, through the shirt show. And I was learning a lot by the system that they had in place. That print shop was actually measuring every single print that you would actually do, like impressions. And then I read Profit First, and I also read Atkinson's. What's his the book?
What is that called? I don't know, but he also was involved with
it's like the Profitability
Shirt Lab
one.
Yes, he's involved there. Yes,
I have that one that you're talking about from Marshall.
Yeah, and that one honestly to me is called Price for Profit.
Yep.
Cost plus versus value. When you realize what you're doing on a larger scale, you can only count on the same hours. Are you going to spend your time doing a business card that you're going to charge $150 versus a design that you can charge $1,000 for a shirt? Which design are you going to choose? Yeah. You know, but yeah, it's been working out great. Honestly, I mean,
it's the same thing as like we kind of try to tell people where they're afraid to, like, if you're, say you're the printer and you're also doing films and you're doing cleaning screens and all this other stuff. And then you go to, I don't know if I'm ready yet to hire an assistant or someone to do emails or whatever. It's the same thing you were saying about hours in the day. It's like, if you can hire somebody to tackle the emails or whatever, you're going to have so much more time in your day to focus on the things that you're really good at. And then the company's going to grow. Like the sales are going to come in more so and take care of the payroll for that person because they're focused on one thing and you're focused on another thing. Yes. It's not like you have to split it in half. It's like the company will grow because you're getting more shit done more efficiently and at better quality.
Yeah. 100%. The only thing I'm doing, I'm going to be starting to do at the new shop, it's, I got a single head embroidery machine, but that's for sampling because I figure now that I'm measuring pretty much everything that I'm doing, there's a certain amount of time that I'm missing between the time that we digitize it and by the time I get that live sample approved. You know, you're coming into another shop to do the embroidery, so you're losing already time. Now you're considered quote unquote a broker because obviously they're giving you a better price and then you're reselling it. So with that embroidery machine that I got, I'm hoping that I can, as soon as the design is ready on the laptop, put it on a fabric and let's get a sample stitch so that we can get the art approval finalized. There's a whole purpose of that one. And my wife is there. She knows how to stitch. But, you know, with the baby, the kids, you know, it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Now, you were saying that you're the main focus is sales, like what you like to do with sales and what you guys seem to be focusing on, like you said, is a lot of schools and stuff. Do you have like a method or I guess a sales technique for what you're doing to get more schools or work harder on the schools that you already have?
Well, so right now I'm concentrating on keeping up with what's already there. There are some customers that are considered repetitive customers. I'm focusing on taking care of them and giving them the best service.
Right. Because
it's a repetitive thing. Throughout 2020, when everybody was slow, when everybody was busy, I was lucky enough to have work to be at the garage and, you know, make it through 2020. You know, lots of fishing, lots of drinking, lots of eating, lots of grilling, but I was able to stay busy. But I did look at a couple of options. There's a company around the area that has a program where you park on the bus, there's a bench and they put your logo and I looked at it. That's kind of like a technique that I'm looking into once the auto is installed. Once I have my procedure pretty much ready to go, But as of right now, my main focus is the customers I currently have. I want to give them the best service. Because
Andy, have you ever tried marketing like that, like a billboard or anything like that? I've done billboards.
Oh, really?
Radio. Yeah. You know what I got from both of those?
Really?
Nothing.
I wonder though, because I think that if you're, I guess it depends on what your ad is, first of all. I mean, because you could have the wrong billboard ad or the wrong radio ad. Right. What station is it on? Is that like the right demo for your audience? I get people that call here looking to sell advertising all the time. And right now it's just, I say no to everything, but I think because our only advertising or only marketing, I should say, was in social media for the longest time. And then we're just so maxed out that there's really no reason for us to go after it.
I'm just saying the early years of being in business, you kind of try anything and everything to see what works and what doesn't work. I still do that now. Like I'll try things just to do it, like start a clothing brand just to see like how someone does that and the things that they have to do to figure it out. So that way when I get a customer, I can say, oh yeah, this works for this. This I know this because I've done it myself. But like the billboard thing was more like, I don't know, we had a cheesy salesman guy come in like a suit and he was like, oh, I'll sell you a billboard. And he's like, it's less than you think it's going to be. I don't know how big it was. Like it was pretty good size. It was like $150 for the billboard. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
You mean like a month?
For $150 a month. And I was like, I will definitely do a billboard. Like I'm considering, and we've talked about this for years, like just doing stupid billboards for no reason at all.
I don't know because
$150.
Are you going to get the right customer? Are you going to get?
It has nothing to do with the customer at this point. Like I literally just want to do like Chris doing a thumbs up and have it on a billboard just because it's $150. Like it's just stupid shit. Like make billboards that have nothing to do with anything. Just because it's $150.
That's a really good idea, Dylan.
Well, part of my sales strategy, because obviously I don't touch the wraps at all. My cousin does it upstairs. When you tell the customer the price over a period of time and you do a car wrap, in my opinion and in my personal experience, there's a better return on a car wrap with the right information. Right now, all I did was my logo, my 3 services, which is graphic design, screen printing, embroidery. That's all it needs. And the problem with it, like you said, who are you targeting? Yeah. Right now, you get those ones is, I'm thinking, you know what, I should get a DTG machine so that I don't turn that business down. But you get a lot of those customers.
If you have a car wrap, then that means you have to drive very politely. Because if you cut somebody off, they're like, fucking shirt con, cut me off.
Yes.
And then what's going to happen? I'm going to bad review. So I would have to drive way better is what I'm saying.
The other thing though, too, is that you need to be like, I feel like with that old school marketing, you need to be really, really creative. Like there's a couple instances that stick out to me that like billboards. There was one they did a long time ago for Kill Bill when Kill Bill came out. And it was like, the billboard was up here and it was, I can't remember if it was like a sword. It was like her with the sword. And then there was like, in Kill Bill, it was like blood splatter was the huge thing with Tarantino. Just like when someone gets cut, it's like fucking fountains of blood everywhere. There was blood coming off of the billboard and it like hit the road. And then there was a car that they parked there that was part of it that had blood all over it. And it was like this whole display. It wasn't just a billboard. It was like something to see and people would want to take pictures of because they're like, holy shit, this is really cool. Yeah. Or there's those billboards where it's like a Chevy dealership and then the next one is a Ford one, like talking shit about the Chevy one that was right before it. And it was funny. Me and Christina were in Chicago a little while ago and we were leaving the airport coming into Schaumburg and there was like, I don't know, it had to have been like 15 billboards in a row, like from the airport to downtown. And they were all like men's hair care billboards. And it was like hair care or something. And then the next one was like, no, seriously, hair care. And the next one was like something about hair care again. And then it kept going. And there were near the end, there were billboards that just said, yeah, another billboard. And it just like, it was like, but the thing is you remembered it because it was so obnoxious. Yeah. Like it wasn't, had nothing to do with the hair care. Like if there was one hair care billboard, I wouldn't even have looked at it. I would have just been like, oh, yep. And like brain wouldn't even have registered it. But because there was 15 billboards, it was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Hair care. Like if I think of hair care, I think of those billboards.
Yeah. You have to know your, what do they call them? stats. You have to know your stats. Who are you targeting? Where is it going to go? Where are you going to be putting your ad? Like, I'm going to be on a diagonal street, and I thought, there's a bench there and there's a stop sign there. So if I come up with something, $10 shirts, one minimum 72 pieces, whatever, or something catchy. Yep. Because obviously on that street, there's no other print shop. That's kind of like a plan B. But honestly, my number one plan is plan A, just focus on the system. That's it. Mm-hmm. Focus on the system. Right now, I have it as, it was one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys. But right now, I'm just doing Google Drive with PDFs. And it's working out great. The customer is able to look at a PDF and is able to say, okay, this is where we're at. But
I mean, as far as approvals go?
Approvals, where does the artwork stay, or my designer, what are we looking at, my press operator. So I have an iPad on the shop, and my press operator comes. First thing he looks is under his press, what boxes are we doing? So if there's a box number, that's kind of like the system that I got. I know Dylan and I, we talked about the services, not Printable. What was the other one for online?
Inksoft,
I think.
For stores?
Yes. I was looking into that. And that's probably going to be my next move, my next investment. But that's once we get a little more steady, with orders, catching up with, due dates. I'm at a 7 to 10 days turnaround time right now. I'm hoping within the auto, we can be at 3 to 5 days on an average order. That's my plan.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays the biggest sales thing you can do, and we were just talking about this with Josh from Sunday Cool, is like having either a product that nobody else has, or something that's more rare. Like if you're just like a water-based shop and you offer water-based, people will come to you for that. Or you have like crazy good turnaround, which, industry standard turnaround, say 7 to 10 business days, or 10 to 15 business days. But if you're like, you advertise the fact that things are done in like 72 hours or whatever it is, it's like, holy shit, people are going to come to you because of that thing, not because you're just like another screen printing shop.
Sounds like a nightmare though. Like I think that I think you're right. I think you have to have a competitive advantage, a niche, or one of those things that you're talking about. And it doesn't have to be one thing either. I suppose it could be a combination of things. I mean, because we like to think that we have really good service and
you do.
And really good quality. And so, and if something goes wrong, then make it right. And so we just printed what just happened? I'll tell about a goof we just had. So we printed for another shop. It was a 9-color print, and they only had, I think they had an 8-color press. And so they contracted to us to print this design. They gave us the art. The art was all ready. All we did was output it. And when they gave us the art had registration marks and some color information. And we never have that. So like when we burned the screens, at the top of the screen, there was a reg mark and there was color information. At the bottom of the screen, there was a reg mark and then
Please
information.
Tell me you left that on all.
Oh, come on, Andy.
Hold on. No, hold on. Actually the opposite. And so when we saw that, we're like, not we, but so they did a test print and they went to go do a final. And so when we do that, we tape off all that stuff. Well, they taped off everything on the top, like they should have. Taped off all like the reg marks and the information on the bottom. However, there was some information on the bottom that needed to stay, and that was the artist's name of this design. And so we're so used to like not having any information there. When the press operator went on, he just taped everything off. Like this shouldn't be here. And then it was such a complex design. Everybody was focused on at the final print. They were focused on just the design and how the colors were saturating and all this kind of stuff that they didn't see, or they didn't catch that there was a little tiny information that was left off the bottom. We printed, there were, I think 72, just a case of shirts. They printed them all wrong. And customer got the order and was like, wait, so this is missing. And it was for another shop and was a total fail. You know what I mean? Like it's the worst. It's the worst. Like, oh my God, here we are.
Like from the show, from doing this, we've got a lot of printers that exactly what Andy said. They have a shop, they have an 8-color press. They have this 12-color print they needed done. They hit us up, which is fine. It's fine. But it's fucking terrifying to print for another printer because you know they're going to inspect the shit out of it.
Yep.
Which they should.
Like, no, they should. But I'm just saying is like, I'm cool with it because I know we're going to make it look good. But it's still one of those things like you give it to a regular customer, they're just like, oh, cool. Like this looks cool. Like this looks good. But you hand it off to another craftsman who's like fucking critiquing like, oh, I can see where they did this here, or they did this here. They probably should have added a flash here or whatever. It's just like, oh, fuck.
Well, she opened the box and said, hey, these look really great. Awesome. And then she was like, oh, shit. You know, and it's missing that. Shit. So she gets a hold of me and I say, I say, give me a second. Let me go check it out. Found out what we did. Gave her a shipping label. It's coming back to us. And we're lucky because it's just one screen. So a black screen at the bottom, we got to add a little bit of text. We're going to put the lasers to it and we'll be done.
You know what's funny about that stuff? And it happens to us all the time. Well, not all the time, but it definitely happens to us is just what Andy was saying. Like we look at things from the technical aspect or like colors and making sure you're getting opacities right and print to look right is we don't actually look at what the actual print is. You know what I mean? Like text. Text is what the biggest one is like misspellings. Like even if it's not on us, it's on the customer who like typed something out in a design. We won't fucking read it. Like we won't actually look at what the text.
You're paying attention to registration.
You're paying attention to registration and color and everything else. You're not actually reading this.
So this is an excellent point, and this is exactly why I have 4 people approve, which we don't always get right. But the reason why I have a
person who just reads it.
Yeah, time out. So here's what we got. So here's why I want 4 people looking at the final. I got the press operator, press assistant, and they're focused on the print, registration, colors, that kind of stuff. Then we have quality control, and then we have the actual designer. All 4 people missed it because I think everybody was focused on the craziness of the print. But still, you know how often all 4 people or one of the 4 people catches something, whether it's the registration or a wrong color or the designer catches this or the quality control catches text, because you have 4 different sets of eyes looking for maybe 4 different things. You know what I mean? That's the goal anyway.
Yes.
That's the goal. But you're right. You actually could have somebody at the very end, just all they do is spell check. Like that's their job. You're not looking at registration or anything else. It doesn't even matter. In fact, it's best if you're not a printer. Just come over here. Is everything spelled right?
Right. That's the thing is I do that like when I'm out on press. And the funny thing is it's always a job that's like 5,000 pieces or something. You go out, I like leave my office. I go out, I look on press, and then I just sit there and I'm like, okay, I was horrible at school. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at like typing shit out, but like use your brain for a second and focus and just make sure these words look correct. You know what I mean? Like you're just going out and you're just like checking things out. But it's like, it hasn't happened where I've gone out and seen a job like halfway through. I'm like, dude, this is misspelled. But like you read through the whole thing. You're like, okay, yep. This looks right.
Yeah. You have to have the art approvals and you have to have the press operator look at the art approval with the signature from the customer.
Right. Because, but like I said, the problem is that if you get customer supplied art and they fucked it up, not you.
I mean, honestly,
it's kind of like you don't think about it. It's like, why would I read this? Like I didn't type this up. I have no reason to even look at this. We've had it before where it's like a plumber and like their phone number on the bottom is like 3 numbers, and then 3 numbers. He like left a number off the last set of numbers. And it's like,
you're referring as if it was like contract printing. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying just like a regular customer's like, hey, here's my art, print it.
I do have
we print it, but we don't read it. Like we didn't type it up. Like we didn't make the artwork. So why would we look at it? Other than like colors.
I do have very few customers that bring me their own stuff, a soccer store, a clothing brand. And even though it's a repetitive thing, I mean, honestly, you're charging, okay money. But honestly, the last thing you want to do is a reprint, especially on a manual, I still give them an art approval. They're like, Ruben, it's the same job. I'm like, hey, I didn't give an art approval. At this time, even though if it's a 3-color, a 2-color, I just can't afford to, set up the press again. I'm printing manually. I'm going.
Yeah, we always do an approval on reorders.
They're still getting it approved. I'm saying we'll take the art, we'll set up the approval, but the customer again, they're looking at it as, it looks right. Like they're not reading through it again. And then we actually print it and they're like, oh, I fucked up. And that's when we feel bad. And it's like, all right, well, we know it wasn't on us, but we'll print the job again at cost. Like if you're willing to buy the blanks, we'll do the printing. Like that's usually our fix with feeling bad for somebody is
when I was doing
again, as long as you cover the cost.
Yeah. When I was doing the the whole insurance thing with the new building, the policies, the insurance agent told me, you know what? Now that you're in a print shop, I need the actual document that you get from the customers, because if you're gonna file a claim on a loss, I don't know how you guys do it with your accountants, but you can actually file a claim for X amount of misprints throughout, the year. And obviously you're not making money on a loss. He actually went through my contract and he looked at it, and he pointed out a couple of things. He said, you know what, make sure you have them initial here. Make sure you tell them that if they approve something and you did something wrong, they're not gonna, because they can literally just take the product and don't pay you, especially if it's on net terms. If it's their fault, it's their fault, and that's it.
What were some of the things that he said? You said just to initial certain areas? Or
yeah, for instance, so my contract, when I do my reps, let me just give you an example real quick. So when I do my reps, I have a sheet, like a form, and all there is on the back of the contract, we inspect the vehicle. And it tells you, hey, prior to you bringing your vehicle here, the vehicle's not going anywhere. So if you leave your vehicle outside in the parking lot, you have to drive it to the garage so we can wrap it. So we inspect the vehicle, initial here. There's no dents.
Right.
There's nothing that, you're liable for. There's a final walkthrough when they pick up the vehicle. And if let's say there's a bubble on a wrap and we didn't fix it, they have to tell me right on the spot so we can fix it. Things like that, that you have to be like, when you're dealing with a car wrap, you're looking at anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, depending on the vehicle. If it's a van, it's even more. If it's, an expensive car, those are the little things that I was like, you know what, I feel much more comfortable, taking money from the customer, knowing that we're going to do art approvals, and then having them go through that little contract. It just makes it a lot easier.
Do you guys have a window, like a specific time where, like, if you do a job for a customer, everything was up front and agreed upon and approved for mock-ups and everything. Do you have a window of time when they get those shirts that they have to let you know if there's an issue of before you're like, hey, it's been way too long? Like, I think ours is like, I want to say it's like a week or two. I'll have to look at our actual terms, but do you have one where like they have a window of time to say, hey, this is fucked up, or I'm missing a piece or something like that? Like, because we've had customers that are like 2 months down the road and they're like, hey, I realize we're missing a small. And it's like, dude,
that's too much.
Like,
that's
you
too much
ordered
time.
fucking 2 months ago.
Yeah, no, that's too much time because it's a small shop. I only have about, 100 screens that I go through. I'm holding on to the screens. When they come and pick up or when we deliver, I tell them, hey, quality control did a checkup and everything came out okay. Here are the extra pieces. Let's say 1 or 2. It is your responsibility for you to look into, within a day, at least to count them, At that point, if a kid at a school or somebody wants a shirt, they have about 5 days to put in a second order without the setup. That's kind of like my standard. Within 5 days of the art, or of the screens being pretty much on the rack, ready to be cleaned up, or if we're going to reclaim them, after those 5 days, they pay the setup and to reshoot the screens.
Right.
But no, that 2 months, that's a lot. No, there's no way.
I'm not saying just to order a shirt. I'm saying if there's any issues at all. If someone's like, I don't like the way this green turned out or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, let us know immediately. Don't like wait weeks.
Yeah. You have to.
I feel like
they have to
at
let
that
you know
point,
right
it's
away.
like you're just thinking of ways now. Like it's not. There's nothing actually wrong.
When we do our pickups and when we do our deliveries, my dad, he knows he's got to open up a box and show them to the customer. After he does that, he grabs that paper and they sign off on it. Anything wrong with it, let the driver know, let my dad know. If a customer's picking up, same thing. If I'm ringing them up or if I'm doing the other 50%, before I charge their card, hey, here's the product, everything is okay. I usually order 1 or 2 pieces extra because I don't want to really set up, on a manual. But no, that's just the standard. That's just how we've been doing it, and it's been working out great. I do have some misprints. Don't get me wrong. I do make some mistakes.
We all do. We're not. None of us are saying that doesn't happen. Do you have any good like customer horror stories, like ones that just went like horribly wrong, or somebody like fucking flew off the handle on you over an order?
Well, there's a customer, Hardcore Italians. I love these guys a lot. They give me so much business, and there was a time where 200 pieces on a manual were misprinted. I mean, it turned out to be good because, hey, I meant up for it. I was like, you know what, it's my mistake. I don't know what happened. I did not pallet change. I did the actual board where it's got the nuts, so you have new boards. The boards were incorrectly. So out of the 6 colors, every single shirt was coming out crooked because of the way the boards were. And
so you're talking like the MDF. You like screwed onto the pallet bracket, but you did it
instead of being straight. It wasn't an angle, and the bags were looking like really, really bad. Totally my fault, a rookie's fault. You know, this is what happens when you work too much. I worked on a Saturday and I did the boards on a Sunday, and we started printing on Monday. We delivered within Wednesday, Thursday. 200 shirts came back on a manual. They had like 3 colors in it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. So I did my research. Yeah, the boards were bad. Yeah, they're brand new boards, brand new on the press I got. But it was my fault. That's kind of like the worst so far, I think. Other than that, what else?
Andy, what was your worst? What was the absolute worst customer horror story you have?
I mean, when we goofed on a job?
Yeah.
I think it was when we printed on, it was just a simple 1-color print, and we had used, this is probably going back 5 years. We used a super poly on it. It was 100% polyester.
Oh, those are always the worst.
And we printed probably, I don't know, maybe 500 of them, but they were the black polyester, and we had never printed on that brand before. And we did send it down the dryer, looked fine, and printed them all.
They turned out gray.
No, they were kind of almost a brownish gray. Like I've never seen anything like that before. It was so bad, and it got caught and stung so bad that we hung that shirt up for like 3 years at the end of the dryer. Because
you have to learn
to remember, like, never print on this shirt again. Ever.
Or digital camo.
Wasn't that the PC380 by Sanmar?
It was a Sanmar, I want to say, shirt, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, there's another horror story right there. I use that one nowadays. It's a very nice shirt. I'm able to sell it for $15, $20 with the number and a 1-color for random soccer teams. I don't know what happened to that badge, but all 15 of them or 20 of them, I don't remember. As I was pressing the numbers on my heat press, it left that mark around it, like the square.
Oh, yeah.
I called my vendor and I told him, hey, who's my rep? Because I don't really buy much from them. And you don't have a rep because obviously you don't really buy much from us, but what can I help you with? And it turned out that particular style, back prior to 2020, prior to COVID, when I met him at a show here in Tinley Park, he did tell me straight up, he's like, you know what, I think there's something with the dye migration, because all the other stuff, Augusta, Adidas, all the other stuff for the soccer store, working for a soccer store with, genuine products, Nike, Under Armour, never had a problem with that. Never. It was just that random, I don't know if it was a badge, a semi. I don't know.
That's just it, is like, you could print on the same item, 10 times in a row. And on like the 11th time, on the mediums, they could all be bad, and so it's, that's the hardest thing, I think. And I want to hear, Dylan, I want to hear your worst horror story. But
yes,
I think one of the hardest things though, for us is that poly, having confidence in that poly white, that it's going to be okay and not post bleed on you. And so what we tend to do now is, what's really nice about the, Dylan calls it ultimate, but it's the ULT2 from Monarch, is that it cures at 270. Mm-hmm. And you have to lower your dryer temp because, things gas at a higher temperature, and you can order all low temp inks. I mean, this is something you could do to avoid that stuff. Although I guess that's a pain in the ass.
A lot of people, not everybody knows that. You know what I mean? They don't do the research, or they haven't found that out yet. But the thing is, when you did that, you found out, like
the hard way.
The hard way. You know, you always find out the hard way, and that's exactly that leads into me and our biggest fuck up is it had nothing to do with the blank, and it had nothing to do with the ink. Well, it did have to do with the ink, but it was us just not knowing any better. That's like why this job got fucked up. And it was a local dentist's office. They like just opened, and it was like a kid-friendly dentist office, and they had this fucking like train on the front. It was like a cartoon train, and it had like all these kids in the train cars, and it was like, I think it was like a 8 or a 10 color or something print. And no, it had to have been like an 8 color print that we used 6 colors to make it work, because it was back when we were just doing stuff on the Sportsman. But anyway, it was like when we very first started using discharge. So we're like, all right, you know what we could do to make this print look really cool and feel good is we'll do a discharge underbase and plastisol on top. So, and that was our way of like, you know, doing water base and then flashing and then doing wet on wet colors on top and saving us spins and all that sort of stuff. And it ended up being like, oh yeah, we know enough to do this job. So what we ended up doing is we did white discharge, and then we did all the colors on top, and then ran through the dryer. They look good. We were like, oh yeah, these look great. Whatever. Got them to the customer. Probably 2 weeks later, we got a call from the customer saying, hey, all of the ink washed off these shirts. And I was like, oh, dude, that's like the worst fucking call to get from a customer. Is like, your prints fell off the shirts, basically. So I was like, and this was back before we had our newer dryer. I was like, it had to have been the dryer. Like we had to have just had like either like the dryer shut down, and this old dryer we used to have, it used to like shut down randomly. And it was just kind of like, that was kind of a nightmare. So I was like, all right, it probably, the dryer wasn't at temp. They didn't cure right. Let's do them again. And it was probably like, I think it was like 250 shirts, like a 6 color print. So we did the job again the exact same way. We did white discharge under base and then printed all the plastisol colors on top. Same thing of like probably like 3 or 4 days in, customer calls and they're like, you got to be fucking kidding me. All of the ink fell off again. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, what are we doing wrong? And then I talked to some printer friends, and they were like, yeah, you can't print white discharge as an underbase because there's too much pigment content in it. Like there's too much pigment load in white discharge. You have to use a discharge underbase that's meant specifically for you to print plastisol on top of, which is how we discovered U-base, because it's kind of white, but it's got just enough pigment load to where it's not, if you have too much of a pigment load in it, it's not going to adhere with the plastisol, and the plastisol is going to wash off. So we didn't know that. We were using straight, like bright white discharge, and then we were printing plastisol on top, and they weren't adhering, and the plastisol washed off. So that was us just like not knowing enough, not understanding that you can't just use white discharge. You have to use a specific discharge underbase.
So you did it a third time?
So we did it. So we did it. I did fix it. And then when we did it the third time, I would just straight up did plastisol for the whole thing. I was like, I don't care if this thing's fucking an inch thick, like
bulletproof,
as long as it doesn't fall off the shirt, I'm cool. Right. But then, like I said, we did testing and we tried new inks, and we ended up using the CCI U-base. And ever since then, we know now, like, this is what you do and everything else. But this was, like I said, this was years ago, but it was just one of those things, like, you don't know until you know. And we thought we knew, this is, oh yeah, people can do discharge underbases, but I didn't know that you can't do that. And like I said, it's one thing to fuck up an order for a customer, but it's another thing to fuck it up for them twice in a row. Yeah. And then them to just be like, are you fucking kidding me?
In that situation, I would just be honest and tell them what happened and tell them what we were doing and tell them what we were trying to achieve. I
told them the second time.
And then make it right.
The first time I thought it was the dryer issue. I was like, oh yeah, it fucked up. Like it's a dryer. Like they didn't cure. Like
and how long ago was this, Dylan? How long ago?
I don't know. Probably maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
And you got it masterized now. You know exactly what.
Yeah, we do it all the time now.
Nice.
But like I said, it's just like back then I didn't know. Like it was our first.
Do you still print for that dentist?
No, we do not. That's again one of those kicks in the dicks where you know if you're gonna fix. Like I know you both have had this where you fix a job for a customer and you know that you're going out of your way to fix it for them and do the right thing, but you also know they're not coming back.
They're not gonna come back. Yep, yeah, you're right.
And it just sucks to eat it and fix it when you know.
All right, so Ruben, you've got the Sportsman coming in. It's going to be a huge game changer for you. Are you all ready? Like you have power, you have a compressor. I mean, are you totally set? You're just waiting for the install?
I'm going to call Frank tomorrow. I'm calling Frank tomorrow. We're getting, 20.
GSF Frank?
Yes. I already got a load for a job that I'm going to be doing.
The best thing is you can drive to Frank's.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
You just go pick them up.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call him. That's the only thing I'm missing, the screens. I looked at the air compressor that Lee Stewart bought. It's a lot of money, but it's worth it, I think. I'm gonna jump on that one in a little bit. But for right now, we're gonna share it with the one that they have on the building. She's gonna run the line, but I already got the electrical set up. I already got the opening that I was waiting for from the city.
Did you get a chiller yet?
It comes with it. The chiller that he has on his air compressor is already installed. All I'm doing is just running the line.
We have
it's a built-in chiller.
Mm-hmm.
Integrated. It's the one that you had because I have an extra one sitting here. I was going to say if you needed a chiller.
But you're not talking about the one for the compressor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one that the Sportsman has on the bottom, that's just
like a catch.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. I'm just saying, like, if you just buy a basic air compressor, it doesn't have its own built-in like air chiller to take the moisture out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to buy a chiller. My air compressor is a really big, good air compressor, but it does not have a built-in chiller. So I have a separate chiller on the floor.
Got it.
That it runs through.
And your air compressor that you guys have, do you guys box it with soundproof or is it loud or what?
I did, yeah.
You did? Because that was my plan. If I can either spend the money on the one that Lee had and, don't worry about, the noise.
Lee has a really, really nice one, like a top of the line.
Yes, I saw it.
And I have that brand for my chiller, not my air compressor. I don't know if you need to go that balls deep with an air compressor for a screen printing shop. Like, you could do it. I'm just saying it's like buying the Rolls Royce of air compressors when you just need an air compressor for your auto.
We didn't do it on our first auto, but when we upgraded to the second, then we went to the integrated screw compressor because like you said,
his is like regular air compressor, rotary screw compressor, and then like Lamborghini of rotary screw compressors. I'm just saying, like, if you're just buying an air compressor,
why not?
First auto, like,
why not? So I think that if you're, I guess it depends on what your plans are. I mean, your plans are at having two autos because, we have a Rolls Royce of air compressors too. And it made a huge difference in our shop, because anytime we wanted to add something, whether it was the Unicode or the Ecotext or whatever, we always had the air. I never have to worry about it not working because that's a huge thing, right? And also, just like you said, the noise is a huge factor. And so with the first air compressor we had was a piston air compressor, and we put it in a room because that was the idea. Like, okay, well, we're going to reduce the noise. We put it in this closet. And we put extra insulation in all of the closet, right? Thinking that's going to help with the noise. But what an issue is, what you have to keep in mind is that it can overheat in that closet. And so you have to let it vent because if you don't, that air compressor gets really, really, really hot. And ours actually at times, every once in a while, like we were running like hard, a lot of heads. And your Sportsman has AC head, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, you don't have to worry about that, but I mean, as much. But if you're running your compressor more than it's designed to run, it definitely will overheat when you try to enclose it. And so the greatest thing in the world is to have a rotary screw with an integrated.
He should have a rotary screw compressor. I'm just saying that the rotary screw that he's talking about that Lee got is just like a fucking like. It just seems like it's the really, really nice one.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I want to be up and running. We're tired of pulling the squeegee. I told the new landlord, hey, what are you gonna do about it? He's thinking of selling it. He's like, you don't have to worry about it right now. Get yourself the airline, take care of the labor, and just use it because he's not even using it. and he's like far out. So it's just me running, the line. But yeah, I mean, at that point, that's pretty much, I'm just waiting for the delivery. That's about it. I'm ready to go. Ready to rock and roll.
You're so stoked to
I'll send you guys pictures of they were supposed to go in today for the shiny floors, but since I'm not there and the landlord is not on the weekend, the guy's like, you know what, we need to do this right. We're putting in decals on the floor prior to the shiny, what is it like? It's not really. Yeah, I guess it is metallic colors that we're doing. I'll send you guys pictures. But prior to the final finish, the final part, we're going to put the quality print sticker. It's going to be a welcome sign, and it's going to be nice.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a nice looking shop.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the biggest takeaways you have? Because this is the interesting part of you, is that you've been involved in a bunch of different shops over the years. What are your biggest takeaways from all of that experience to doing it over again now yourself? Like, what are you like, definitely not doing that, or this was a great idea, I want to implement that?
Well, being in the industry for about, 15, 18 years, realizing that you can only do so much in an 8-hour shift, you have to focus on what's making you profit. One of the things that I did realize is that I love DJing. I love fishing. I love a lot of stuff. I love my hobbies. But honestly, now that we're focusing on one thing, I think that's the key factor. If you're focusing on one thing and you're doing things right, if you do quality work, you should have a quality life, pretty much. What's the whole point of coming into work 8 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours if you're not going to be enjoying it?
Right. No, I agree.
Before we go into any shop or life hacks,
okay,
I had this happen. So I put out a job posting a few weeks ago. I had some applications and I set up some interviews. Let's see, last week, I think it was the week before, I interviewed somebody. They came in and they got here, handed me a resume. We started talking and I realized that she currently works for a kind of a competitor, but kind of a more of a person than we contract print for sometimes, all of their overflow, a lot of their overflow. And she's currently employed there. But she said that, look, I'm just not getting enough hours. And I like the idea that you have insurance and stuff like that. So I want a full-time job. And I said, I thought about it. I'm like, wow, because we really needed somebody at that moment. And they're qualified. I in my head, I'm like, I would hire this person. I would hire her. But that would also jeopardize the relationship with this printer that we work for. And so I thought, well, I could just hire her, and I guess that's the way it goes, right? That's one option. And she was looking for more hours, and we had it, and so there you go. Or I could call them and potentially risk them letting her go just on the notion of like she was looking elsewhere, because that's sometimes sometimes shops are like, wait a second, you're going around applying in other places. That's not cool. Why don't you just come to me? And so I decided to call them and call that shop and get a hold of them and said, look, there's a person that's it's going to leave. That's looking here. I asked her first. I said, hey, is it cool if I call the other shop? I mean, do you want me to do that? Or just, is this like in confidence? I won't do it. She goes, yeah, it's fine if you call them. And so I called them and I said that this girl, she's looking for it seems like she's looking for more hours. And if you can't give them to her, then she's going to go somewhere else. If not my shop, she's going to go somewhere else.
Who's calling me?
Oh, do you want to answer it?
I will answer it. Hold on. Can I ruin your story? I'll call him back. He went away. Finish your story and I'll call Josh back.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I know why it's so important.
And so I said, I don't know where I was with the story.
You called the company. You called the company.
Yeah. And I said, look, you either, if you can't give her more hours, she's going to either work at my shop or somewhere else. And if you want to keep her, then if you got the hours, then, she's going to leave, give her some more hours. And so he said, let me talk to her and I'll call you back. And so we called him back the next day and he said, we offered her full time and she's staying. And so I didn't get that employee because I thought that she would have been great here. But I think it set precedent I think it did two things. One, it set precedent because I don't want them coming over here and poaching any of my team or anyone else. And two, it kept our relationship strong, and which may go away one day. There's no guarantees that they're going to send stuff here anymore. And all of a sudden, maybe they stop sending something here, and then I guess it doesn't matter. But like, what would you guys in that situation? Somebody comes to you. What would you do? What do you think is the right thing, or is there one?
You want to go first, Dylan?
I can if you want me to. I think the key that you said was that you asked her permission to talk to the other printer. Yes. I think if you didn't, like I was shaking my head because when you were telling that story, I was like, nope, I'm not touching that. I'm just, I'm not going to hire her. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk to the other place because I don't want to jeopardize my business with that company. And B, I don't want to be a dick to her and like go to that company and say, hey, this person's trying to leave. Is it okay if she works for me? You know what I mean? But if you ask her and she's like, yeah, I don't care if you ask them, then it's kind of like, you're not screwing her over and you're definitely not screwing the company over because you're asking them like, what's up with this girl trying to come to my place? So I feel like that was the key factor, is like you asking her permission to talk to the other place. If you didn't do that, I would say, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going anywhere near that. Like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth taking that employee, and it's not worth like jeopardizing with the other thing. So I think you asking was the best thing you could have done.
Ruben, what did you think? Did I do the right thing?
I mean, I think you did the right thing, but when you first started saying it, you said it was a key employee. Maybe it would have been an asset to your company. I mean, is that what you're asking? Because you probably regret not having that.
Oh yeah, we need, like, I could really use it right now. Oh yeah,
of course.
So I still got that spot open. Anybody out there?
See, I mean, I've come to the conclusion that it's taken me a very, very slow time to hire employees. I did a lot of applications. I did a lot of interviews, and I was just hiring because I needed help. But the one thing I did learn is that you guys talk about this all the time, the culture, the way you guys interact. I had an employee that worked here and I trained them from the bottom all the way up. But my mistake was that he was a graphic designer. So obviously a graphic designer makes more money than a press operator. And at the end of the day, he really forgot about, all the training. So you have to hire on value. I want to say you have to hire on value. If that employee is filling a position that is going to be valuable to the company, you can tell your colleagues, you can tell them, hey, I want to hire this person. But obviously you're not giving them the hours. So is it okay if I just, do my standard procedure, fill out an application, go through the interview? Maybe you would have kept it. I mean, that's just my thought.
I feel like the other scary part of that is, and I've had it too, where I've had an employee that we hired and they were a fucking shit employee and we fired them, or they, quit or whatever, just because it was like bad situation, bad timing. And then they go work for another printer locally. The best part is, like, I rarely ever get that call. You know how, like, you're supposed to call, like you said, like the best thing you did is you called them to be like, hey, is it okay if I hire this person? Because they could have been like, whoa, whatever this girl's name is, could have been like, she's a fucking psychopath. Like you
that was another part of it that I was going to mention too, is that
that's what I'm saying.
A lot of times shops, though, a lot of time, and I've even done this, but a lot of times shops will cut hours to a terrible employee, hoping that they go, because you don't want to deal with termination.
Right.
And so instead of terminating, you say, hey, sorry, there's no hours. And then if there's no hours, then they go somewhere else. So it could have been that situation where they were just cutting her hours. And you could have said, oh, dude, hey, like, don't hire her. You know what I mean? Like, we're just cut her hours.
If you don't mind looking over your shoulder every day, then yeah, hire her. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, like, I've had that where, like, someone left here or I fired them and they go work in another shop and I never get the call. Like, how you're supposed to, like, background check. I never get supposed to. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I never get the call from another shop and being like, hey, I just hired so-and-so. Like, they wrote on their resume that, like, they worked for you for like 8 years.
So this is perfect. Like, you're telling me that if somebody comes to your shop and they apply and they say, It doesn't even have to be in the screen printing world. Like I worked at Chick-fil-A. Do you ever call Chick-fil-A? Or do you ever call any of their references?
If they worked at Chick-fil-A, I'd be like, all right, whatever. They worked at Chick-fil-A. But if they worked at another print shop, hell yeah, I want to call that other print shop and be like, why did they leave you? Or like, why were they not here anymore?
What happens is these employees are the ones that got laid off, like with Corona and, you know, people that ended up closing shops. Who are you calling? The shop is no longer, you know, available. I mean, you really can't.
Yeah, if the shop is gone, then that's obvious. That's right. Like, okay, that shop doesn't exist. But I'm saying if someone left Andy's shop and they wanted to come work at my shop, I'm going to call Andy and be like, dude, what fucking crazy are you sending me right now? Because like, I know your shop and I know it's a respectable shop. Like, why are they leaving you to come to?
There's a couple of things that with hiring that I never do. And one of them is I never call and check references because I never believe it. For one, you could call a shop or wherever they worked and whatever reference they put down, and that reference could say, yeah, great person, they're awesome, hire them. Or they could say when they weren't, you know, like, because maybe they just don't want to say, you know, because maybe they don't want to get sued or who knows what, like maybe they don't really tell the truth. And so whenever I decide to hire somebody, it's all based off of the couple of interviews and their trial day. It's like, how do they interact here? And then I just roll the dice because I have people. Here's one reason why is I have
people that are serial killers that are like fucking like nice people. They just like to eat people at night.
Well, there's not very many. And so I would say that, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So if they, I've had ex-employees, some of them that have voluntarily quit and some that have terminated, actually text me like 3 years later, 5 years later and say, hey, Andy, I just put in some applications and I put you down as a reference, or can I use you as a reference? And then what am I supposed to say? Fuck no. You know, like if they're bad or something. No. So I say, okay, I'm like, oh, cool. Thumbs up. And then if that person calls me, what am I supposed to say? Like they were a terrible employee and shit talk them. I mean, it's been years.
You'd be like, really? Yeah, that guy was a fucking psychopath.
I think it's all on your app, your job application that tells you right away. I don't know how you guys have it structured, but I do have a series
like those things
of
are
questions.
bullshit. Like nobody writes the truth on that. They were like, yeah, I was kind of dick to Sarah at my last job, and there was like fucking work tension, and it became a bad vibe, and I had to leave that place. They're going to be like, no, I was the master of communication, and I did this really good thing where I did what I was told. And it's like, they're not going to tell you the truth. I want to call you and be like, dude, seriously, what's the story on this person?
If you have the ability to talk to other shops and ask them, hey, what happened here? I'll do it 100%. But honestly, there's some key questions on every single application that I look into, like what was the reason for leaving, for getting fired, or for quitting? The number one question. What is your purpose? What are you aiming within 6 months?
I just feel like they're always like, boss was a dick. It's like,
well, I think that the way I do it is, like I said, first impression, second impression, I guess, too, because they come here and do a trial day. And then it's just a roll of the dice. And I have 28 days. In Missouri, you have 28 days to decide if they're going to work out for your company. You like, if you're 10 days in or 27 days in, and you're like, wait, there's no way, like they are a psychopath, or they're late all the time, or they aren't learning, or they're mean to other people here. You know, so you have that amount of time where you can let them go, and then you're not on the hook for any sort of unemployment. They're not like a permanent employee here. And so that's the way I do it. And most of the time it works out. Because why? Because I've hired so many people, and I guess now that I'm older, I have a decent radar of who will work out. And I'm wrong sometimes. And when I'm wrong, I correct it quick.
On the business plan I wrote for the city of Chicago, when I got the building, one of the things I did mention was that I was going to create, job opportunity. But, oh my God, 28 days, that's a lot. That's a lot. I told them I'm going to pick up students so they don't have to be on the street. I'm going to pick up new talent. I'm going to see if we can have people actually fit in our structure of business. But right off the bat, I would probably guarantee if the application went well and the interview went well, you get 5 days to prove that you want to be part of the team. That's the key. 5 days. If within those 5 days, your check is secured. Don't get me wrong. But in those 5 days, you see that he's got bad manners, he's got bad, ways of working, or the way, you can tell right away. And when you're pretty manly, the way they handle the press, you can tell right away if it's going to be a good fit or not. Because I'm a printer, obviously, I know this. And, when you guys look at a job application or a new hire, you want to look at the person, and I don't want to say don't judge a book by its cover, but you want to look at a person and be like, is this going to be a right fit for us or not? Within a week is more than enough, Andy. I don't know if you're saying 28 days because it's
legally.
That's just
we have 28 days.
Legal. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, a lot of times you figure it out in the first week, but there is this little honeymoon period where new hires are extra special good. A lot of times it doesn't start going downhill until maybe about almost a month. And so that gives you a decent amount of time anyway. And so I think that's pretty fair. I wish I had just a little bit more time to be on the hook about it, but
all right. I think
we don't.
I think this is a perfect question for me to call Josh and ask him what he would do.
Oh, Josh doesn't like employees at all.
Like people. That's why I want to hear what he has to say. It might be he's going to answer with something rude, so just be aware.
Hi, you've reached Grizzly Willow.
Here, let's see if he answers for me. Should we ask?
Oh no, you can't.
Because I bet you he answers. Yeah,
no, I'm calling first.
Here we go. No, here we go.
I'm beating you. I already beat you to it.
Damn it!
He's probably like taking a shit or something. No, actually, if he was doing that, he would pick up. He'll call me back. I know he will. So I'll poke him when he comes back.
Let's give him a real phone call here.
Okay.
Is this phone call on purpose?
Yes.
God damn it, Josh, you fucker.
That had to have been a drunk dial or an ass dial.
Did you just
see the true friend would call him. He's like, why are you calling me?
Did you just drunk dial pocket dial Dylan?
No, I called him on purpose because I figured he was the only other person today that didn't care about sports ball.
Yeah. See? Josh, can you hear me?
What's up?
Yeah, it sounds like he's being smothered under a pillow.
Oh, well, that's normally how it sounds when we're together.
All right. So we're recording an episode right now, and I love so much that you answered when I called and not Dylan. But we actually have a question for you, and I can't remember what it was though. What was it? Dylan
We wanted to ask that if someone was applying for you to work for you, if you would call their background check people, like where they worked before. Like if they came from another print shop, would you call that other print shop and be like, what's fucking wrong with this person?
I mean, I would, because I've had a couple do that with me. It was a good thing. Like, the people were good people, but I had a couple shops which surprised me because I didn't think most people would do that. But if I know the shop particularly, definitely I'd call.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And if a shop called you and asked for, let's say somebody was applying there and they asked you how that employee was, would you make up some long, crazy story like you do? Or would you be, or would you be honest and tell them real talk stuff?
No, I've had that happen. And I was honest because I'm a fool only if it can mess with me. I would never do that for an innocent person.
Like somebody that was trying to get a job, you're not going to screw that up, you're saying?
No, I'm going to be honest. Like, I had it happen with a really great shop down here called the Half and Half. They're a flat stock shop in Columbia. And I was kind of shocked because, number one, they called me and wanted my opinion, but I was honest. Like, I would say this. I believe this is what I said about the person. They're an amazing human, but I kind of put them in the fire a little bit. And I didn't know. Honestly, I don't know what happened with the situation. I never asked if they hired him, but I just said, I don't know if this person is going to be able to sit there on press and pull 5,000 posters every afternoon, because they're a very high volume shop. That's all I said. That maybe looked as negative, but I was like, I would give them a chance because they're a great person and they might be amazing, because T-shirts and paper are two different things.
True.
But yeah.
I feel like, Josh, you would make up a story and be like, no, that employee, during his breaks would spit hot butter out of his ass or something.
And then he eat like 7 chalupas or something.
Something like they got napalm gas whenever they ate gummy bears. So if you see them eating gummy bears, smack the bag out of
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your input. It's great hearing from you. And
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to go. Fuck off.
Who's the third person there talking?
That is Ruben from, not Aztek, from Quality Prints, right? Yeah, Quality Prints out of Chicago.
It's nice to virtually meet you.
I would like to meet you too as well. I know when you call a printer on a Sunday, that means you love what you do also. So I would love to meet you too.
I also feel like this is what dating was like before Match.com.
All right, Josh. Thanks for not picking up when I called, dickhead.
I was in Home Depot overpaying for LED light bulbs because I bought the wrong kind last night. I'm sorry.
All right. I still love you.
All right, Josh, love you.
All right, Josh.
All right.
Nice. See
All right, Ruben. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, the one question I had was you guys answered it for the software. I definitely want to move over once I get the auto. Once I get my what software are you guys using for your system? Because right now I'm just using the Google Drive, and it just takes time.
Yeah, it's kind of a recurring thing for me on here, but yeah, it's the same thing. I use the Drive and I use the calendar and I use FreshBooks for invoicing.
Okay.
And it's one of those things like I could switch to Printavo. I could. It's amazing. It's got a lot of good things. They've gone through it with me a ton of times, but for me, I'll get there someday. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay, got it.
You know what I mean? Like my staff are totally running. Everything runs beautifully here on the way we're doing things now. And I feel like if I switch things over, it's just gonna, kind of muddy things up a little bit.
Your system is pretty much working fine, and
I've been doing it for 12 years, and it's been fine. I have no issues with it. There's just little things that I could probably improve on or automate. Most of it's automation. You know what I mean? It's just like getting out of certain things, but like I said, we do it every single day and it's fine. So that's my reasoning for not switching yet. But they've got me all set up to where I could literally just like walk over one day and like change it all.
Nice. How about you, Andy?
For us, we custom built a system. I think that there wasn't one system at the time anyway that would work well for our shop. I could cherry pick a lot of things from different software, packages, but we needed something that was really powerful in scheduling, because that's where I think was the hardest thing for us. I mean, our shop runs a certain way, and so we built something for that, for how it runs. There's definitely some negatives, because I would love for it to all be in one. Like if you're in Printavo, then everything can be in Printavo. And there's something that's very fantastic about that. And we're in two different systems. So we invoice in QuickBooks, and then we have built this powerful scheduler in Monday. I know that Printavo has rolled out a beta version of something they call Power Scheduler, which hopefully has improved on their scheduling. Because at a shop like our size, which we're not a huge shop or anything, but at a shop with our volume, and we're running, so many jobs a day, we needed something that was just custom built for us, like how we run. And so that answers the question. And it's not perfect. There's definitely some things I would like to change, but we kind of do that every once in a while. So we go in and we can, we know how to, like, we built it here with about four of us built it. And I think that it's probably time to make a couple of changes and upgrade it. But yeah. And so that's what we do. So what do you use? What are you using?
So I bought a license for just the standard software called T-Works a while back. And it allows me to quote, invoice, track orders, and I integrate it with the Drive. And everybody has access to the Drive from the iPad. I can access it from anywhere. It operates. I guess that answers my question. I would love to have something much more fancier, much more productive.
Yeah, maybe upgrade to the best thing you can get. Well, my thing is that I've been doing it for so long a certain way that there's going to be things that get lost. Like if I want to pull up an old invoice for somebody, I still have to have FreshBooks.
Okay.
I can't just get rid of FreshBooks because it's got years and years worth of stuff on it.
And that's what it's called, FreshBooks? That's what it's called?
FreshBooks is what I use. It's just like QuickBooks, but it's like an online thing.
Online,
it was like online before QuickBooks was online.
Got it.
I have that. But for me, it works good. And I don't know, that's just what I'm using. So
I look forward to you guys a lot, and I listen to you guys all the time. The other question I had, I know it's Super Bowl weekend. I know you guys, you all have to go. What is if you were to put up a sentence, what is the key factor for the success of both of your businesses? Whoever wants to go first.
I think it's going to be the same answer for both of us, is customer service and quality prints.
Nice.
I would just add one thing and that is culture. And that's something that I was absolutely terrible at first. I guess I should say I was good at when it was small. I think I knew how to run when it was very, very small scale. I could run that and maintain culture. But when it got over a certain amount of people, I was absolutely terrible at it. And it took me several years and a lot of mistakes to figure it out and to just kind of rethink and retrain my brain and get rid of my ego and think more of how to support the team. And once I did that, then because if you're scaling and getting busy and printing a lot of shirts, well, then your team gets larger, and you have to you have to learn how to manage that team. And that becomes incredibly difficult. And I still work on it every day. And so that's just it, man. Operating a business is very fucking hard. It's one thing to learn a skill of screen printing. It's another thing to learn a skill of customer service. Another thing to learn a skill of, how to maintain quality or do design and all these things. But the actual operating day-to-day operations is really, really tough.
I think if you were looking for an answer that's kind of like, I kind of gave the cop-out answer of just like customer service and quality, but like you should strive for those anyway. But I think the biggest thing is just being yourself and creating your own brand and your own thing. You know what I mean? Like people are coming to you for, like Andy said, like your culture. Like don't create a culture, just have it be fucking you. Like have it be the way you guys normally are in your day to day. Don't make up a thing and put fucking live, laugh, love on the wall. Like don't do that shit. Just like do exactly who you guys are and what you're into and everything else. And stuff will follow. It's with us. Like we're all into movies and comics and all this other stuff. And that's the kind of work that we do because those are the kind of people that we are. So we get a lot of that kind of work because we know what we're doing and we know what we want to talk about. So if you're really good at something, just do that.
Nice. Yes. Thank you. Yep.
And I would add one thing, and that's Dylan sent me a meme. It says, how to be successful in customer service. Number 1, abandon any notion that you'll ever be happy. And I think that, that's just it, is that you can, when we were like super small and I was customer service, well, then I could be as nice as I want. Right. And it was up to me. It's my business. It's my investment. I better make sure that this customer has a great experience. Now you hire people in and then they're taking care of the customer. How do you convey to them how important it is, or how do you hire the right people to take care of the customer, to make sure that customer has a great experience? Because that's a tough job. And so to motivate those people and to find the right people to make sure that as customers come to ShireKong, that they're having a great experience is really, really hard day in, day out. And so finding that team and making sure that you're supporting them and being supportive of their role. That's super challenging.
Super hard. Yeah, it's super hard. Not only finding printers, finding, the right salesperson, the right customer service, so they're going to quote right. It's hard.
That care, that actually care.
Yeah, they care about it, of course. Yes.
Yeah, it's tough. And so I think that would be the number one reason for our success, is just that finding people who care and keeping them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, you ready for some quick takes?
Yes.
What is one thing you need every day?
Coffee. Well, right now it's tea because it's really, really cold. My wife told me, Ruben, don't drink coffee today. You're going to be coughing a lot. Tea and this right here.
Celery?
Celery juice. Oh, celery juice or...
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it does.
Or the green stuff. Apple, banana.
Okay, apple banana sounds good. Celery water sounds fucking...
But you know what? Believe it or not, there was a meeting I had to go to, and they told me you need to get tested for COVID before you actually go there because there's going to be a conference room and you need to prove shoot, even though you have your vaccines and all that stuff. I mean, knock on wood, I haven't gotten anything. I mean, not a single.
Wait, so I didn't even know. I didn't know celery even had any nutrition in it. I thought it was just basically water.
Green juice. It's just green juice. Anything.
You're describing it so well.
Green juice. I mean,
celery is one of those things that, like, you chewing it burns more calories than the calories you're getting from the celery.
Water, coffee, tea. That's my daily. I'll have a beer at the end of the day. You know, with all this going on at the house, the new shop, I haven't really had a chance to do this. The Modelo. Yeah. What happened? Didn't we have to cheer?
We can if you want to. Hell yeah.
I just have a bottle of water though.
You can't cheers with water. That's rude.
Oh, come on.
That's all I got.
Cheers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have a beer. I'll have a beer once in a while.
All right, have a beer instead of celery water, dude. Favorite snack?
Combos.
Pizzeria combos. Just bought combos.
Combos.
What flavor combos though?
Yeah, what flavor are those?
This is cheese. They send them incorrectly. I got a whole box, and I didn't finish the bag. Combos.
So just the nacho cheese ones?
Yep. I love those.
I used to like the pizza ones.
Pizzeria, that's the one I like. Those are good. Mm-hmm. Pretzels with taste of pizza. Yep.
All
right. Just because it is Super Bowl Sunday, who do you got in the Super Bowl?
Dude, I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl.
We don't know. My buddy called me, Ruben, the Squares, are you going to be in? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Everything is coming out perfectly. You know, business is doing good. Family is doing good. Let's give it a shot. I don't know who I got. I should just pick my numbers. But I think, what is it? Rams? Is that who's going tonight?
Dude,
it's one of them.
Fucking idea.
Yes.
That's one of them, I guess. And that's who I got. The Rams. I don't know.
I don't watch any sports at all.
Same here, man. I used to play soccer. I used to be on top of sports, obviously with the brand, you know, the soccer league, but I just been out.
Well, all I know is there's some printer. There's actually probably many printers right now in the LA metro area and then Cincinnati that have probably their presses set up. Yeah, with thousands of shirts sitting there waiting to go, and they're like, "All right, here we go." And they're going to be.
They probably don't even care about the game. They just want the fucking order.
Maybe they do.
Here's a quick story, real quick. When I was probably 16, 17, I worked at a print shop, just putting shirts out. We literally had to be there at 3 a.m. in the morning, ready to print when the Bulls won.
Yeah,
remember that three-peat or something like that.
Oh yeah,
in a row. And my older brother, he's like, Ruben, come in, help us out. I'm like, whoa, I got school the next day. Just come in because if they win, oh my God, the whole city went crazy that time. I can imagine football. I can imagine.
What are you watching right now, shows wise?
I haven't watched much. The latest show I watched, Taco Chronics from Netflix. Have you guys heard of it?
Oh, what's that?
They give you heard of it? Taco Chronics. So. They give you the story in Mexico of the different states and how they do their tacos. It's interesting.
I think I did see that on there.
It's interesting because in the north side,
cooking shows.
Yeah. In the north side, it's a different way. And the central states, it's a different way. Different meats, different cuts. Even though it's a tortilla with meat in it, everything is different.
Right.
It's an interesting. That's the latest one I watched. Taco Chronics.
I like it.
Speaking of tacos, you probably are both going to give me shit for this, but we're making taco pizza tonight.
Come on, Andy. Taco pizza? Are you for real?
Yeah.
How is that going to work?
I'm not giving you shit. It sounds good. I like taco pizza.
Wait. Tell me more.
So it's just like this this crust we buy at Target, which it's just really good. And Dylan always laughs about it, but it's just it's like a store-bought crust, but then you put some, just some refried beans down.
Okay.
And then, we're going to have, so you could fry it up either ground turkey or chicken or beef. And just like you normally would put some taco seasoning in it. Right. And then put that down, and then cheese and some black olives, some jalapenos, green onions, done.
But you're saying taco pizza. We're missing the tortilla. Is that you just...
No. Yeah, you're right. So it is. But it's like we have... The only reason why we're making it... Yeah, I mean, they make them at Taco Bell. I think they call it Mexican pizza. I haven't been to Taco Bell in years, but...
They haven't had Mexican... Or is it Mexican? Is it Mexican pizza? They haven't had that in forever, like since I was a kid.
They have it here.
Yeah, they have it different. It was actually pretty good. It was like it was almost like a tostada or something.
Yes,
and then different layers, and they had a couple of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay.
That's good. That's good.
That's what we're having tonight.
I guess I'll be interested to see how it tastes. So
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a pic.
Cut him a slice, mail it to him. Let him taste it.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise, 100%. I'm a fisherman. I like to get up before the sun.
Yeah.
That's when you get the best catches. You know, you take off at 3 a.m. in the morning, no sun. You unload the boat. Sunrise in the morning is the best. Yes.
I kind of agree with you now that you say that because of the fisherman thing. Like when I go hunting with my dad and I'm in the tree stand when it's still dark, and then you see the sun coming out over the mountain, it's pretty majestic.
Stress release. Good. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They're both good.
I don't know. Is it me or when you're like sunset? I mean, don't you feel like, okay, it's like the end of the day. You're tired. I mean, I guess you don't appreciate it as much as the morning. That's just my take. That's just my point of view.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when we were on, vacay last month.
You're chill.
Yeah. It was great. Outside. It was beautiful to watch. And then usually having a couple of drinks and then go have some dinner. You know, I loved it. I love a sunset. I love both. That's a tough question.
It's tough. But if you were to pick one, sunrise, 100%.
Okay.
All right, Dylan.
What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Save $20 for every time I go out partying when I was 18 years old. I would have had 2 hours by now. If I was to save $20 from every night out, that's the one thing I regret. I spent too much money partying, too much money going out, buying drinks, dancing, meeting people.
But those were good times.
Yeah. Of course. But honestly, I had that business, thing with 13 years, not going to waste. But
it's not about the money. It's about the experiences.
The
stories.
Yeah, but
stories are worth more.
I burned a lot of money. I don't know about you guys, but I burned a lot of money in my 20s.
We all burn a lot of money right now. But it's life, man. We're living through it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fucking YOLO.
All right. I have told you what I'm having for dinner, but what is for dinner for tonight for you?
Since I'm staying at my mom's house with my family because they're remodeling, I have no idea. And I'm pretty sure my wife did tell me, hey, we're going to be doing this or that. I have no idea. I know for sure we're going to go tomorrow to a restaurant.
Valentine's Day?
Yes. With the kids, because we've been going crazy. My kid had a swimming conference yesterday and I didn't get to go.
I don't think you're supposed to bring kids to Valentine's Day dinner, honestly.
They've been not working. They've been on school. They've been left out babysitter. I've been dealing with.
You're saying you haven't seen them much.
I haven't seen them at all.
You're a good dad.
I told them, let's bring the kids. Let's just bring the kid. Make a reservation for 5, and we're gonna go to this. Where they cook on the spot for you. What's it called again?
Oh, Olive Garden.
No.
Andy's favorite place.
What do you mean? What kind of food are you talking about? Where they cook on the spot?
You're talking like hibachi?
Hibachi, yes. Hibachi. On 95th
I knew what you were
Street.
talking about. I just wanted to say Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Dylan, tell us, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I have no fucking idea.
You better get one.
Go home, go to bed, wait for tomorrow.
You better get an idea.
Hey, I forgot one more question. Now that you mentioned Valentine's, what did you guys get your wives? Or what are you guys gonna get?
Why you gotta put us on the spot like that?
Come on, man. Come on. We have to know. I want to know because I want to know if I made the right decision or not.
Well, this is Valentine's Day weekend for us because she just got back from being out of town for a couple of weeks. And so
that's why Andy looks like a handsome lumberjack right now, is because it's role play night and he's the lumberjack.
Exactly it. That's my story.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all.
That's all good. All right, Ruben. Thanks for doing this with us, man. We appreciate it. Hell yeah for being on. Thanks for sending stuff in the past. And we're so glad we got to have you on.
Hey, I'm here for you guys. Whatever you guys need. Okay. You guys have my contact info. Mm-hmm. I think I don't know what day, I don't know what time, but I'll be flying out to New York. I know I got my friend in San Luis, so I'll be visiting.
Bigger, cooler.
Bigger, cooler. You got it.
Cool.
We're doing very well said, Ruben. Great talking with you, and I'll send you a pic of this pizza. And take care, man.
Once I get the whole shop, I'll send you guys both pictures of the new shop with the auto. I'm probably gonna be on top of the press because it's celebration time. No more printing. No more printing on
fireworks, bottle rockets.
Right.
Champagne. See you guys.
Hey, dude.